Tonight on the Bigfooty Blues podcast, we discuss the win over the Tigers, we look at the game against the Bombers, and we discuss the whereabouts of Jab and Doc. All this and more coming right up.
Come a knock on our door.
Come and knock on our door.
We've been waiting for you.
We've been waiting for you.
Where the kisses are hers and his. Three's company too. Come and dance on our floor.
Come and dance on our floor.
Take a step that is new.
Take a step that is new.
Leave a lovable space that needs your face. Three's company too.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 22nd episode of the Bigfooty Blues podcast. I am, of course, the Wookie. It has been a very big week in football, and we're going to pretty much ignore all of it to talk about the Blues tonight. Guys, with me is the old Duck Navies, as always.
Wild horses couldn't keep me away, guys.
And Happy Dude is here with us again.
Yeah, finally.
Yes, there's been some technological hiccups and a few issues getting on board tonight, but we are here, and so we're going to get this wagon trail moving. Guys, your highlights from the weekend.
You want me to start? I'll start. How
Anyway,
about I
you
start? I'm trying to be a gentleman here. I'll go first. Well, as if we need to ask what the highlight was. Finally, Carlton put together a performance that was worthy of our support, our admiration. Just a couple of players, Robinson, McLean. We'll go through the rest later, but it's a super three quarters after an ordinary beginning. And I'll tell you what, I don't mind admitting, I had a little bit of a tear coming up at the side of my eyes on. During that game,
right?
A bit of a tear. I got a little bit emotional. I was very, very excited, and I got a little bit over. I was very passionate, and I started getting a little bit emotional because that's what I want to see from the boys. And geez, that was stirring stuff.
Excellent. And Happy Dude, what was your highlight from the weekend, mate?
The good thing was, the Richmond supporters actually outnumbered us at the game. So a lot of Carlton supporters must have been confident at all. And even though they were still right in it towards the end, they're only 10 points down, it was good to see all the Richmond supporters pouring out of the G with a few minutes to go.
Yeah.
And waving them goodbye as they left.
I've got to admit, I was at work, and I was looking at the scores, and the first quarter rolled around to the end, and I'm like, no, not again. So I can handle us being competitive, but that looked like it was going to go in for a severe flogging, and I was just like, no.
Yeah, it felt like that. I didn't think we played that badly in the first quarter. They just kicked a lot of goals that I didn't think were really there. You know how far away Moe is from the city, and I made it from Morwell to the MCG in under 2 hours from when I finished work to when the game started.
There's got to be something illegal about that, but... Anyway, so we may as well get straight into reviewing the game. And, of course, this game took place on Saturday afternoon at the MCG, where Carlton 16-10-106 defeated Richmond 14-12-96, thereby getting some revenge for round one, and making it 10 out of the last 11 games that we have now won against the Tigers. It would have been nice to be 11-11, but that's not to be. In terms of the score, goal kickers, McLean kicked 3, Henderson kicked 3, Casbolt kicked 3, Gibbs kicked 2, Menzel 2, Robinson, Simpson and Tui 1 apiece. For Carlton, the best were McLean, Simpson, Jamison, Murphy, Robinson, Gibbs, Casbolt and Armfield. No Carlton players were injured, and Bootsma was replaced finally by Nick Graham in the third quarter, and that's something Happy Dude will no doubt want to talk about. The official crowd was, of course, 60,825 at the MCG, which isn't bad for a second half of the year crowd. So, guys, how do we rate this win in terms of our season?
Very important, I feel. We really needed to get up and have a win, especially after that very underwhelming performance that we had against the Dogs the week before when everyone said our season was on the line, whereas this is our real last chance draw. We have to win all our games if we want to make finals.
Yep.
And we actually showed up and did it.
And, yeah, no, I thought it was a very big win in the context of things. I mean, like you said, we have to win everything. There's no if we can lose one and throw it away. I would also like to point out that this has utterly broken the curse of ODN. And his one win for the season. We're now at 2, so the curse is broken.
That's an out of context curse. It's already been explained. It's like a dog with a bone.
I'm just saying, he cursed us with a curse, and it was a bad curse. It was right up there with that.
Let go.
It's right up there with that Abernathyable guy pointing a bone at Collingwood at Victoria Park all those years ago. It was right up there with that.
Down, boy. Down.
And, it was just good.
It was good.
It does shape up a very, what could be a very big round 23 match.
Oh, it would be huge if we can get over Essendon. I've got a feeling that we will, but I'll talk about that later.
I have a feeling that we'll flog Essendon, but that's beside the point.
Yeah, round 23 becomes a very big game, especially I was expecting Fremantle to get over Port Adelaide. In the first quarter, a lot of people on the forum were saying that we're playing badly. I didn't think we were playing too badly. Just a lot of Richmond midfielders were kicking goals that you wouldn't expect them to. Just getting, a little bit like 2 metres clear on the 50 and banging them through. They were just kicking goals that we weren't.
I think it was.
Stats-wise, we were right up there with them, though.
I think it was instructive that some of the guys that came through on Saturday are some of the most maligned players of recent times at the club. And guys like Casbolt, who came back into the side, and prior to this couldn't kick straight to save himself. He kicked 3-2. Robinson, who has been, unfairly maligned on our very own forums by some people, he had a great game.
Between Curno's game, McLean's game, particularly second quarter, and Robinson and Gibbs, I reckon those 4 really won it through the middle for us.
Gibbs' goals from outside 50 were.
Yeah.
I honestly think he should probably play half forward.
I've always thought he should play half forward. I just reckon he's a beautiful kick, and he can kick it 50, 55 metres.
He's one of the few players we have in the side who can go at it from outside 50. So, we need that.
Yeah.
So, because otherwise we're always going to be limited to those one-on-one contests in the square, or and they don't always go well for us. The other thing that was important, I think, was Waite playing in defence, and playing well in defence, I might add.
He was doing nothing up forward. The move had to be made to get him into the game. And let's face it, we had Bootsman down back, and that didn't work. You've got to say, Mick starting Bootsma on Rewalt. Yeah, I'm sure he might have been trying to bring on the guy a lot quicker.
Yeah,
but
it wasn't smart.
It was a big game for us. That was a bit, that was a bit overly ambitious.
And Jamison played well on Rewalt too.
Well, Jamison shut him out after that.
Yeah.
So.
When's the last time Rewalt kicked a goal on Jamison?
I couldn't answer that, but it is it's interesting to note that Bootsman's out of the side this week, and Cruiser is back in, and we didn't drop any big men to put him back in the side either. So
yeah, that's another story. That is
something that we'll be looking at later. But I personally thought Waite, just the style of play that Waite plays, he's not going to be outmarked often in the back line.
Yeah,
and
I like Wade as a backman.
Well, he's played there in the past, so
he was close. He was close to all Australian form last time he played down at centre half back.
It's like 2008, 2009.
Yeah, he was in great form, and then he got injured, as a lot of our guys do when they're in great form.
Well, he got injured,
season.
And we traded Fev at the same time, and we needed a forward, and Waite was like the only option. So.
The greatest thing to come out of that Richmond game for me was manic pressure. We've been talking about it, and Jab, God rest his soul,
wherever his
holiday.
And I must say, we haven't fired Jab. He's just not here.
He's just not. He's
having a break.
He's having a rest. He would have been a big advocate for that manic pressure. That was one of his buzzwords, and we had it in spades. And we see a lot of teams have it. And we just wonder why we can't do it. And that's the result when we do it. when we just attack every contest, and we were more ferocious at the ball and at the man than Richmond were, and results come. And it doesn't matter the fact that we were down, we were missing we were missing Judd, we were missing Cruiser. They're two players who usually do have a fairly good attack on the ball, and it just means everybody on the same page, giving their all. It's that team game that Mick used to have at Collingwood, and that's the sort of thing that we want him to bring to us. It doesn't matter. It's just, all of them collectively working together make up a pretty impressive unit, and we just got to find a way to put that on tap and do it every week. Look, I agree with everything you guys said. Robinson was unbelievable. McLean 3 goals in the second quarter.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, what a way to get us back into it.
For a guy who's supposedly... Yeah, for a guy
exactly. And Casbolt, all 3 of his goals were meritorious. I mean, that was it was a sensational kick off the ground, and two great contested marks in the goal square for the other 2. You just can't, I mean, as far as contested marking goes, Casbolt, Waite, and Henderson are all in the top 10 in the AFL this year. It brings an ingredient that Rowe didn't have for all Rowe's efforts. I'd rather persevere with what Casbolt brings and the physicality Casbolt brings, and hope that he just gets his kicking right more often than not, and he did. So,
he did lead contested marking on the weekend.
Yeah. Look, what did you guys think of Menzel? I thought he was all class. I'm so impressed with this.
Until he got distracted by birds going for goal.
Yeah, well...
The flock of seagulls. Oh, wait, no, we're talking about Menzel, not Graham.
Yeah, exactly. And I ran.
That's the first thing that came to mind.
Well.
Oh.
I saw him go out. I was like, oh, that's right. He's got that haircut, doesn't he? And as he's chasing the ball, I'm going, and I ran.
How ironic was that?
So, just on that, I guess... I know you're a big fan of things Nick Graham. Happy dude, you're the only one of us that's probably actually seen him play before now. How did you rate his game for a first gamer?
Quite good. There was one moment there, this is what I usually look out for kids in their first game. He made a mistake and he turned it over. And someone in our backline ended up getting it back, and he chased it down and wanted that ball back straight away. I'll look out for this in first gamers usually, because sometimes when that happens, they can drop their head a little bit, and it can be a confidence thing for them. They won't get near it again, but he found the ball, got to the contest quite easily. He didn't always get the ball out of the contest, but he found his way around the ground quite well, I thought.
Yeah.
I reckon the keeper.
Yeah, look.
So, fun stat from the weekend. Lockie Henderson, the only player at Carlton to get 100% for disposal efficiency.
On last weekend, yeah.
How's that?
Yeah.
Followed by Ed Kerno at 88.
I thought Warnock would come close. Didn't he touch it 2 or 3 times?
Oh, don't you...
It's not hard to get 2 or 3.
He actually did a little bit more around the ground, and he took
I saw him take a mark, and I thought, he's going to be dining on humble pie tonight.
Yeah. I mean, and there was claimed after that he should be number 1 ruck and throw Cruiser up forward, and that looks like what we might be doing, but there's
I hope not.
We were playing Brootsma as a tall, and we dropped Brootsma to bring in Cruiser, so I don't think we're really going in too tall compared to last week. Because
one mark, Odeon. Seriously. One mark and 7 disposals for Warnock.
Yeah. Warnock.
Yeah.
He actually broke a tackle too. Did you see that?
Oh, I was amazed at that.
39 hitouts to 33 against Marich. So he beat him, but not convincingly, really. The overall stats: Carlton's disposals 343 to 332. Carlton's kicks 216 to 179. They beat us in handballs. We actually got more free kicks than them, so maybe the umpires are trying to even out the free kick count at the end of the season. We beat them in clearances. We beat them in the centre clearances. We beat them in the stoppages. We beat them at inside 50s, marks inside 50, contested possessions, tackles, and hitouts we drew level in. So
one other major thing, we played through the middle of the ground a lot more.
Yeah, it's
what's happened.
Even if we weren't using the centre square, we were going just outside the centre square as well.
I almost wonder if
Wide.
I almost wonder if there's been a decision that while we're still a chance to make the finals now, that we got to play a style of game that we're currently suited to, not one that we're trying to develop for next year.
Yeah, well, I mean, the guys could have started to forget that game plan a little bit, having played mixed game plan most of the year and in training, but just take to it like a duck to water, don't they?
It does. It does kind of make me wonder, though, if Mick hasn't adapted as much as he should have to the team itself, instead of being so bloody minded about his own game plan.
But he said that at the start of the year. Remember, he did.
Yeah.
He said two things. One, we're going to be more defensive, but we will build the game plan around the players, not the players around the game plan as such. So he did indicate he would use the best of what we could do, and then he suddenly went away from that, and we were chipping around the boundary line, and we were getting smashed.
I don't understand why we would have done that in the first place.
Yeah,
The only reason I could see is if he tried to get them to be more defensive before he went back and let them be more offensive.
Yeah,
the only reason I could see, and that doesn't even make total sense to me.
See, speed was always our greatest weapon. That's why we've got guys like Yaron and Garlett and all these, and they've been so out of form in the second half of the year, and I honestly think that's confusion. I think Yaron's best days for us weren't as a forward; they were running off half back. As soon as they took him off half back, he had a couple of good weeks up forward at the start of the year. Done nothing since.
Yeah, I think Yaron's best position is on the wing myself. So he's got to have room a little bit more, but he can go back to the defensive 50. Because if he plays off half back, he can get pulled back too deep, and he's not as defensive to play deep enough. So if you play him on the wing, you won't get pulled in too deep to defence and exposed that way.
Did anyone notice that Chris Judd was asked to, keep himself in shape and keep himself available? Should we progress further? So
it's a smart thing.
He may be available if we make the finals.
Well, this is a very
I saw that.
It's a very real chance. This is not out of the ordinary. I mean, Port Adelaide play Fremantle this week at Patterson Stadium. They lose that.
The question is do Port Adelaide go into the Fremantle game? Someone else suggested this on the board as well, like Freo did a couple of years ago, and rest a lot of their players, knowing that they can lose that game, and then have rested players to play us in round 23.
Oh, well, at least that takes it. At least we're still alive in round 23 and in with a chance if they do that. I'm happy for them to do it.
Yeah, they can do it because they can drop a game, whereas we have to win both of ours.
Yeah, but I would think Port wouldn't want to be trying to drop a game either.
They'd love to beat Fremantle this week and make it so they don't have to worry about us on the last round.
It'd be better for them to win this week and be able to rest players next week than to do it the other way around.
Guys, need I remind you that we were in the same situation last year, needing to win our last two games and hoping that Fremantle dropped the game to North Melbourne.
Yeah.
And we lost a game we shouldn't have, and they beat North anyway, so we ended up miles out of it.
Yeah.
So,
and it's going to come down to...
Fremantle's form the last few weeks has been pretty damn good. It looks like they're gearing up for a nice tilt at September.
It's going to come down to percentage, and that's it's slightly in our favour at the moment. So we'd be hoping for a big win and a big Port Adelaide loss, and I think they'll have a big loss. Actually, I don't think they'll be able to stop Freo.
No, I don't think they're good enough to stop.
But that's what we want. We want a big Port loss and a big Carlton win, and I think we'll get both this weekend. I honestly believe that.
I honestly do too. I've got a couple of theories on mine as well.
All right. Well, that'll lead us into this week's preview. And of course, this weekend we have the round 22 clash against Essendon, which is being held on Saturday, August the 24th at the MCG. It is a night game for those of you that are going, and this will be shown live in Melbourne, apparently, on Channel 7, and in Sydney on Channel 7, and everywhere else on Fox Footy. Well, and Brisbane on 7, mate. So there you go.
It should be on free-to-air everywhere. Carlton Essendon games are important.
It's not in Adelaide. We're getting Port Freo, I think. So, and Perth will be getting the same game. Head-to-head, the last 5 games, Carlton 3, Essendon 2 since 1980. Essendon 40, Carlton 28. One of the few teams that have got a better win-loss record against us since 1980. And all-time, of course, Carlton 121, Essendon 112. We've drawn 5. Stats-wise, it's pretty even, actually, in terms of who we do better than them in disposals. They do better than us in contested possessions. We're better than them at they're better than us in uncontested possessions. We're better than them at contested ones. For efficiency, we're better than them at clangers, which is good, by the way. They beat us for marks, but we're number 1 in the league for contested marks. We're number 5 in the league for marks inside 50. Essendon are 11th. We're number 5 in the league for hitouts. They're 8th. Clearances, we're better than them. Rebound 50s, we're better. Tackles, we're better. 1%ers, we're better. Bounces, we're better. They're better at us at inside 50s, goals, assists, accuracy, and freeze for and freeze against. So the stats are pretty even. We're better, and this is what we've been saying every week. We're better on the inside. We're better but if they get outside, we're screwed. That's where it's been for weeks. We've got to be more defensive on our in the midfield, and if we can,
just got to spread better.
If we tighten that up a bit, we'll be laughing.
Yeah, one of the things I've noticed, like just on 2 Richmond games, round 1 to round 21. Was that in round 1, I thought a few of our players looked lost when the ball turned over, and we didn't look as lost on the weekend. So that's probably going to help us with that outside defence.
Yeah. So what do we think about the game on the weekend, guys? It is interesting to note that selection table tonight, only one change. Cruiser in, Bootsma out. So an extra big man. We lose a backman. Who's not really in the best of form, to be honest. The game's 9th v 7th. This very much is a must-win game if we're to play finals. And as ODN pointed out to us in the break, it is very much where we were at this time last year.
Yeah, I'm also interested in what Essendon have done at the selection table, especially with Ryder in and Bellchambers omitted. So they're going with a Ryder. First ruck, Joe Danaher backup ruck sort of scenario. So they've gone more mobile, whereas usually they'd have, the Hills and the Bellchambers and stuff like that. And we're the ones with Warnock and Cruiser, so we're a little bit heavier. So it's a bit of a reversal to what we're used to with Essendon. Just looking at the two teams, the way we can swing around, we can have Waite going forward or back, we can have Henderson going forward or back. They've got Hurley who can go forward or back.
Is Hurley named tonight?
Hurley, sorry, yeah, Hurley was Ryder, Myers, Hurley, and Jackson Merritt came in with Jetto, Bellchambers, Dyson Heppel, and O'Brien out.
That's interesting.
Heppel out means that Gibbs has got nobody to monster, but he's been in great form, so that's probably. Nobody's been in great form for them for the last month, but before that, that's probably a reasonable out.
Well, bringing in Ryder, Hurley, and Bellchambers gives them a lot of height.
No, Bellchambers is out.
Bellchambers is out. Full Ryder.
Yeah,
yeah, Bellchambers.
But he was omitted. He's not injured, so I'm wondering what their strategy is there.
Ryder's better as a sole ruck, much like Cruiser is, I reckon.
Yeah.
When he doesn't have to split it.
I think all ruckmen are better. I don't.
Yeah, but some can work in tangent really well, like Cox and that Nui. Whereas Ryder, when he has Bellchambers in the side, I feel his game really suffers.
I'm a bit concerned if we do have any need to use a sub early. I think Warnock's going to be on the bench an awful lot when Cruiser goes into first ruck. I just don't see any point in putting Warnock up forward when you're probably going to have Henderson and Casbolt up there, and potentially Wait.
Could we be possibly going to use Cruiser in the centre bounce with Warnock to try and rove off Warnock?
Well, I mean, that's been talked about before, having him in a rough roving role, but
we haven't tried it yet. I don't think.
Yeah,
I'll be surprised if Warnock plays.
yeah. I'm just that's just why I'm puzzling about it. Just wondering who might be our emergencies. Dygan, which hang on, well, Dygan's in the emergencies, guys. I mean, could you believe that? Seeing that, I thought he was gone. I thought he was dead and buried at Carlton. So that's interesting.
It is interesting.
See. Yeah, and Joseph and Allard. And Allard was in sensational form in the VFL on the weekend. So, Dygan or Allard in for Warnock potentially, I won't mind too much.
I wouldn't be surprised if Dygan actually does come in.
Yeah.
Because if we're not playing Bootsma, we're short of backman. And I reckon Dygan might find himself playing and Warnock might find himself off.
Yeah, that could happen.
I mean,
expect Wade to actually play back.
I think Wade will play back, but they'll do the same thing they did last week. Wade will play in defence.
Yeah, Jamison, McGuinness and Wade as our three taller backmen.
Yep. Dygan will come in to play that tougher role that he was always supposed to play. I seriously think that's a possibility. You've got Walker down there, who actually had a good game on the weekend after a few quiet weeks,
best.
And he's fairly tall as well. I mean, we're getting some height back down in defence. I like it. I like it a lot.
It was nice to see Simpson coming up the ground a bit more and playing off the wing a bit more than usual, back into his old position too. Sort of Simpson and Menzel on those flanks was, I know they rotate around a lot, but seeing them there fairly often, that was
the other option that they might try is Cruiser and Warnock in the centre and have Cruiser go forward.
Yeah.
And just play Cruiser as an extra on ball. I don't see any real advantage to us in that though, and I don't see any if you're going to play Casbolt up forward and Henderson up forward, you're not going to play Cruiser up there as well. I don't think.
Yeah.
So it makes us very
bit of a weird forward setup.
It makes us very top heavy either way.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Look, I've tipped in the preview on the forum. I've tipped a 60-point win here.
I reckon we'll smash them.
I honestly don't think that they're going to be able to get their heads around what's going off field. They're in very ordinary form. I think we are going to wallop the bejesus out of them.
Yeah.
Well, one of my mates is coming with me, and the last two games he's actually come to the football with me as an Essendon supporter was when we beat them by 96 and the elimination final. So we're going to make 3 from 3, and going from his track record, the 68-point win, the 96-point win, we should win by over 100.
It's a very interesting mental battle, sort of on field and off field. When there was Essendon got a stay of execution and more time to prepare their defence and whatnot, that was taken to mean that they would be playing finals regardless. We still don't know if that's the case because there's a lot of posturing going on, and we don't know what deals might be struck in the next couple of weeks. But if the Essendon players think they're playing finals and then they're playing against probably the team they want to beat the most, they might get a bit more motivation out of that. So I'm not going to count my chickens and rely on them being off their game. We've got to come to play, and we've got to come expecting them to throw everything at us.
Yeah, I'm expecting us to rock up with the same desire, because they say you're only as good as your last quarter of football, and I reckon we'll come out like we did with hopefully the last 3 quarters against Richmond. It looks like we started to click a little bit there, so I hope we run out like that against them, like we did last time. I've got some inside mail from Essendon that the players aren't feeling too crash hot and currently don't really want to play, and that's contributed to their loss in form.
Yeah, I read something. Somebody suggested that Essendon players were saying they were thinking about boycotting the last 2 games.
That's not going to happen.
Try not to talk about. Yeah, dodge the off-field stuff, but I've spoken to someone who knows people inside the club, players, and they've said that currently, as it is, a lot of the players don't want to actually be there, and that might be a reason for so many changes.
Well, time will tell.
So, who's going to pick up Watson?
Put Curnow on him, I reckon, because Curnow did the job last week on Cochin.
Yep.
I know Keisha did it last time on Watson very well, and without Keisha coming in, I'd expect us to put Curnow on Watson.
Yep.
Yeah, somebody suggested that Curnow wasn't the right matchup and Robinson was. I'm not sure about that. Watson is a taller mid, but Curnow's tough as they come, and he's got the biggest tank in the club. And
Fletcher's still suspended, isn't he?
Sorry, Fletcher.
Fletcher's still
Fletcher's got another week.
Fletcher's not there. It's
okay, I was going to say, because I love watching Mitch play on Fletcher.
I wouldn't be surprised if Ryder doesn't actually play this week. But we'll see.
Bit of ducks and drakes going on.
I think there's a lot. I mean, look at our team lineup. Waite's named on the bench. Henderson's named in the back pocket. Walker's at centre-half forward. You know.
Oh, yeah, but we've been doing that for years.
Yeah, well, this is the same club that had Dennis Armfield at centre-half back for most of the year, so...
It's still no Kevin Sheedy lineup.
Well, and until we start playing guys like, I don't know, Trent Orman Allen in the ruck, I think we're all right.
Yeah, Matthew Lloyd at fullback.
I must say I'm heartened to see Kyle Hardingham in the Essendon lineup because he always has a shocker against us.
Yeah. I've got a good feeling about this week.
Yeah, same here.
Yep, no, I'll be tipping a win this week, guys.
All right. So, anything on the boards that grabbed your interest this week, besides the Essendon crap, which we're not talking about?
Is there anything else going on?
I was going to say, what Essendon crap? This is the Carlton podcast.
That's right. That's exactly right. We got big games this weekend. Milestones? No, nothing.
I'm not sure about milestones. I normally check that out, actually.
Just checking, looking through the milestone thread now. Nothing.
Yeah, I'm opening it up too.
Another milestone. Zach Tui played his 50th last weekend.
Kicked another. Hang on, we should have mentioned that. Kicked another goal from Ireland.
I missed what Betts got the free for because I was watching the ball come down the wing, and then Betts got a free down the ground.
No, Betts tackled. Essendon player had the free kick. Richmond player, who was it? Vickery had a free kick, and he took too long. He got called to play on as Betts was running past with his opponent. Betts doubled back and tackled him, and it was free for holding the ball. And Tui ran past. Isn't that the one? Tui ran past then.
I'm sure the ball was coming down the wing, and Betts got a free kick off the ball, just outside the 50, and passed it off.
It was sort of more in the middle of the ground with Tui streaming through.
So I watched Tui stand behind him and line it up. It was a set play.
Okay.
I see there's rumours about Watts coming to Carlton.
Yeah. I don't know about that.
What about...
How would you guys feel about going after Sam Blease from Melbourne? I rate him as a player, and I get inside mail on him too, and he's currently quite unhappy at Melbourne as well.
I suspect there's a few players quite unhappy at Melbourne, but whether we'd want them or not, I mean, we're apparently chasing Thomas at the moment.
I'm happy with Blease over Watts.
He's a bit.
He won't cost us anywhere near as much.
He's got a pretty good attitude. He's a bit of a goer, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. He's always gives a red hot go, and he's going to be looking. He's going to be looking to leave when his contract's up.
People claiming we're a shot at Gaff.
Well, Gaff for Yaron. Gaff for Yaron. The Yaron they're talking about. If Yaron wants to leave, potentially. But if Yaron wants to leave, you're probably better off trying to get something for him than nothing. Because I think he's got a year left on his contract, but he might walk. He's liable to walk out if he wants to leave the following year. So get something while he's got currency. If he doesn't want to be there.
No,
I agree with that.
No really big news on the Carlton website this week. Just relatively same old. No, Josh Bootsma signed until the end of 2015.
He did.
Yep, he's
So good for
done
him.
his job, got his contract. He can go play for the Bullets this
Yeah,
season.
exactly. Sign on the dotted line, you're dropped.
So,
Hope you enjoy playing for Preston.
Lockie Henderson puts his sensational season down to continuity and increased confidence.
Confidence. That's what you see in him.
That's the word.
You can see it in his face, can't you?
Rob?
You know, and gee, I tell you what, he's got some tricks.
Yeah, oh yeah. Mitch Robinson admits he was seeking redemption when he ran out against Richmond at the MCG, and you'd have to say he was fairly successful at that.
Would have to. I thought that the sliding rule and the emphasis on sort of keeping your feet and stuff was going to ruin Mitch Robinson. It looked, for all intents and purposes, that he didn't have the game that could adapt to those rule changes, and boy, did he
He came through.
Did he prove me wrong there?
I think he just had to adapt. That's all.
Yeah,
a little bit of adaptation. There he is. And where else? What else was I doing? I had something else. Come on. Bryce Gibbs is proud of the way the team responded against the Tigers. Good for him. Zach Tui loves Melbourne, loves Carlton, could stay in Australia for good.
Yeah, that's what we want to hear.
Should tie him to a light post outside the Legend stand.
You want to tie him to Robbie Warnock?
Yeah.
That's what I was going to make.
May as well.
Warnock joke. I just couldn't think of one in time.
So Malthouse says the leaders stood up after a spirited win. So, well,
Judd must be absolutely spewing about it. Thanks a lot, you bastards.
On the other hand, he might be saying, "Thanks a lot, you bastards. Now I have to stay fit for the rest of the season."
Yeah.
I have to cancel my trip.
Nice big picture of Sean Hampson and Megan Gale on the front page of the Carlton website.
Oh.
With what must be his mum, I assume. I don't know who that woman is. So, yeah.
His mistress.
Now, all right. Well, I guess we've covered pretty much everything this week. Thank you guys for coming on. Thanks.
Yeah, just the only other thing is that what was it? That article about the room that we had where they can check to see if the injuries are going to happen.
Yep.
Yeah. What was that?
Yeah, I thought that was quite innovative. It's good at the club, and it might explain some of the drops that we've had when we thought, why is that person out?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember the name of the room, but it's the only one of its type in the Southern Hemisphere or something. It was a
biomechanical.
Yeah, it's the one.
Yeah. Thing,
so predict who's susceptible to what sort of injury.
It was covered on AFL Insider.
By their ankles and stuff, and I thought it was funny that we made a media release about it after everyone, Dale Thomas reheard his ankle.
Yeah.
How they take the ankle injuries.
Well, it was covered on AFL Insider. That video is actually on my YouTube channel.
Has Dale Thomas played his last game for Collingwood? And I only ask from a Carlton perspective.
Could be. Could have.
Who knows? After re-injuring his ankle, it might have soured a deal that we might have had going for him.
So you'd be concerned about whether he's going to come right?
If he can get his ankle right, I'd love to have him.
Yeah. I don't want him.
I used to call him the almost player because he'd almost do something in regular games. But geez, when I hit final series, he steps it up.
Yeah.
I don't want him. He can stay at Collingwood.
Well, I'd love to have him in a preliminary final, a close preliminary final.
I think we're a class player or two short in our midfield, but they have to be hard at it. So we'll see.
All right, guys.
Yeah. Yep.
That's it. I'm calling it.
All right, fine.
Chief has left me instructions to keep these things to around 30 minutes, so I'm doing...
Wait, I've got a 5-minute speech here. I just want to...
Fucking Chief. Trying to cut our budget. Thanks a lot, Chief.
That'll learn him not to turn up for podcasts.
All
All right. Thank you very much, guys, for coming on again. And we've got a couple more rounds to go for the season. And then you guys will be able to take...
Mrs. Eddie Betts can join us.
Oh, hang on. If anybody sees Doc laying in a gutter somewhere,
Jad's house might be on fire again.
I'm not asking you to help him out. Just step over him. Don't kick him this time. I know you're pretty.
So we have a conclusion to our Doc story.
You want to be pretty much used to seeing him around the local streets, sleeping on a bench or something. It's yeah.
All right.
Or we could just say he's here for this episode. He just didn't talk much.
And Jab, you're very well restrained this week, mate. Good on you.
On that note, good night, everyone. We'll see you all on the forums.
Good night.